Welcome to Papyrus Plans. I'm Tasha. Ready to create something beautiful? Let's dive in.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's work on setting up my 2026 creative journal. And as you know, if you've watched my channel, I showed the journal that I'm using, and I'm going to be using an Archer and Olive journal from their Spring 25 Beneath the Willows collection. So I took it out of the box, but this is the box that it came in, which is really beautiful. So I like the fact that when it's done, you can put it back in the box and store it on the shelf, and it looks really pretty. So that's nice. So this is the beautiful journal that I'm going to be using for 2026. And I thought it'd be nice to kind of have something that mimics the front on the back. And as you can see, the back is pretty plain, but I have this patch and I want to apply it to the back here just to give it a little bit of something here. I think that would be kind of cool. So I'm going to take, and I have the instructions that came with it. I bought some Teflon paper for using with my heat press. So I'm going to take that out, and excuse my hands. I was playing with acrylic markers and I cannot for the life of me get this off, but it's washable, so it will come off eventually, but I scrubbed and it will not come off just yet. So I'm going to wait for it to rub off. I've washed my hands tons of times. Let's see, there's 10 sheets that are 8.5 by 11 and 20 sheets that are 16 by 11.7. So let me see if I can find a 8.5 by 11 sheet. I'm assuming that's on the inside. Yeah, okay. And I think is that 2 sheets or 1? Okay, that's 1. Okay, so this is the Teflon paper that I'm using for the heat press. So I'm just going to pull out 1 sheet for that. And in fact, I might even cut this in half because I don't need the full amount. So I'm just going to fold it. Might even see if I can rip it because it's thin enough. It should be able to rip more or less where I tore it. Okay, just so I don't have quite a large space to kind of work with. So I think that's good. Let's see. I think that I can use either side. Let me double check. I think so, yeah. Oh boy, let's hold up this giant one. Let's see if I can get it back in. There we go. All right, so now I have this to work with, and I'll just trim off that little piece that didn't tear right. This is not getting caught on anything. And throw away this little plastic piece that the pouch came in. All right, so the instructions say to preheat iron to highest setting. Do not use steam. The surface of fabric should be clean before applying, which it is. Preheat fabric. We're attaching patch for 10 to 20 seconds. Position patch and garment. Cover design with thin cloth. Press straight down for 20 to 30 seconds with constant pressure. Turn the garment inside out and repeat. Let cool for 1 minute. And if it doesn't adhere all the way, it says to repeat. Okay, so since this is vegan leather, I did some research online to see if I could use a patch with vegan leather. And I talked to different experts, and they said that I could. They just said to use slightly lower heat than normal, and that I would have to do, and like, for example, this says 2 passes, so they said you might have to do like 4 or 5 passes. So I do have a heat press, and I showed this to you guys in my Amazon haul. So let's go ahead and take this out of the box and plug this in. Ooh, oh, that's nice. It comes with like a little pouch. Well, that's very nice. Let's see. Okay, it's just saying to make sure you have the power cord plugged all the way in. Okay, let's slide this out. And it's a little instruction guide. There we go. Okay, so let's take this out of the plastic. Isn't she cute? Oh, she is cute. Oh, that's adorable. And it matches my art studio. Love it. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this off of the plug, and then this goes in over here. Let's see. Is this way? And so they're just saying make sure it's pushed all the way in. There it is. Yeah, you do have to kind of shove it in. I thought it was in at first, but it wasn't. So I see now why they said that. Because at first I was like, well, obviously you plug in a plug. You know what I mean? But it does require a little bit of muscle. So I think that's why they said it. Make sure it's actually pushed in. Ooh. Okay. Hello. Hello. Okay, so we have this pouch. I guess I'll keep this well, I guess I don't really need to since I have this. I'll just put everything back in the box except for the instructions. And let's see. Okay, there's 3 different levels, low temperature, medium temperature, and highest temperature. So I think I'll use low temperature since the people that I talked to that were leather experts online said you can adhere iron-ons to the vegan leather, but you have to use lower temperature. And so I definitely can't normally use high temperature. If it doesn't adhere with low, I might try to go up to level 2, which is medium temperature. So when powered on, the press will use your last setting. So how do you change the settings? Let's see. Okay, so there's this is the power button, and it displays the temperature here. Do you have to hold it? Yeah, you have to hold it. Okay, so it says level 1, and then it's saying 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's going up to temperature. So level 1 should reach up to 284 Fahrenheit or 140 degrees Celsius. Medium temperature is 320 Fahrenheit or 160 Celsius. High temperature, level 3, is 356 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, long press for the power button, which I just did. I kind of figured that out on my own. And then you press it to turn it on or off. And then you press the power button 1 time to increase temperature from level 1 to 3. And then if you do a fast press, you decrease temperature from 3 to 2 to 1. Okay. So normal press increases, fast press decreases. And the power button on and off, and to turn it on, you do a long press. Okay, so that's pretty easy. I mean, I think that's easy enough. So let's let this come up to temperature. Let's see, low is supposed to be... What did it say? There it is. 284. Oh, and it even gives you suggestion of heating time. So faux leather would be like PU HTV. So that's what they're saying. Use low temperature for about 20 seconds. Okay. All right, well, let's try it and see. And then I'll show you all the different things that I'm going to use to set up my journal. So let's start with this, because this is the outside, and we'll go kind of from the outside in. So let me set this aside, and then when it comes up to temperature, I'll let you know. Right now it's at 212 already, and it started at about 75. All right, you guys, so it just beeped at me. It just came up to 284 degrees, which is the threshold for low temperature. So let's go ahead and, since I can't put this directly on here because it's PU leather, to prep the surface, I'm going to put it on, and I just put it at level 2, and I didn't mean to do that. Okay, there we go. All right, so I just heat up the surface just a little bit, and now I'm going to position this where I want it to be. I think right about here. And cover this. I want to make sure I don't get it too close to the edge. Maybe I'll raise it slightly just so it's not too close to the edge. And then put the Teflon on top. And now we're going to hold it for 20-second intervals. And I'm just going to kind of count in my head and then move it as I go along to the next section. All right, so I did 3 passes, and I kind of rotated the iron like this. Okay, let's take a look. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty good. Now, I think 3 is more than enough. I might have only had to do 2. And this little wrinkle right here is because I probably should have had it this way. The iron just briefly touched it. I mean, it just very briefly. I wonder if I can even try to smooth it out. It was very brief, but okay, when I touch it, it's fine. It might be slightly discolored, but I mean, I don't know. I think the payoff is kind of worth it. And I think what I want to do is go in, and I'm not a fan of this pink right here. So I think what I want to do is use some of this pearlescent pops of color. This is called Pearl Satin. And I think I'm going to add some of this to the wings here because this is dimensional. And let's see. Take my tweezers and just make sure it's not stuck. It's going to pull some in the middle and then gently swirl it outward. So I'm trying to be careful as I get close to that edge. All right, guys, so the instructions from the patch that I got from Amazon worked pretty well. I did 3 passes, but I probably only needed 2, even though I had it on the lowest setting. Again, maybe because this was vegan leather. And I mean, really the only error I made is I had the Teflon sheet like this instead of like this. And I was thinking just enough to cover it, but some of the heat, it was like this, and some of the heat got right here. And again, this is vegan leather. Thankfully, it didn't ruin it, but it did kind of smudge right there from the heat. So just make sure if you do this, you cover up at least 1 inch in all directions past where your patch is, where the heat is going to be, the heat press is going to be touching it. Okay. So I just accidentally I should have turned it horizontally, then I would have been fine. But all the areas that I covered, the Teflon sheet worked beautifully. So you definitely can do this add a patch to your vegan leather. Again, just make sure that you have it fully covered and you're using the low heat setting. The low heat setting was more than enough. Usually you use high heat setting when you're doing an iron-on patch, but obviously with vegan leather, you cannot do that. So again, the low heat setting was more than enough. And honestly, I love the way that it turned out. I mean, is it perfect? No, but I just like the extra little touch that this adds. And I like the fact that I added the pops of color here. The only other thing that I did off camera was when it was about 80% dry, I took my finger and kind of did like this, tapped it really quick, just to kind of give it a little bit more texture because it was looking slightly too perfect for me, and to kind of make it look like it was feathers. And you can see how doing just that little tap motion, again, gave it a little bit of extra texture. And again, it looks like their feathers are folded. And I really love, again, the way that turned out. So now I have decoration on the front, and then I also have this on the back. So I'm loving that. Okay, let's see. I think the only other thing I'm going to do on here is put, like I did on my current journal, I put the year on the spine. So I think I'll do that with this one too. So I have these brass label plates, and as you can see, this is the one I used for 2025. So I'm gonna open this up and take one out. Just kind of pop one of these out of the slot here. Okay, so this, oh, and I need one of these. This is the glue that you put on the back. It's like a little glue sheet. And let's see, I might use, getting a scrap of sticker paper from the trash that I had. Just kind of cutting it down in size because this peels up, but it's, oh, okay, I have to do it like this. Okay, it's been a while since I've done this, gotta remember. Okay, so you do it this way and then put it on. That's what it is. Okay, I was gonna peel it up and put it on there, but I realized I don't have to do that. Actually, it might be easier to do it this way. And then drop it down like that. And then Peel up that part. All right, so I'm just going to smooth this down with my bone folder. All right, let's put this back. So I have the other 4 left. And let's see, it tells you the general dimensions are 32 millimeters by 14 millimeters for paper. Oh, and this is what they give it to you. This is what they give. Oh, this is really thick. Okay, so they're saying you can use this, but I'm gonna use my own paper because I want to color coordinate it, but that's in general what it is. But I'm gonna measure it so I can know what that is in inches. So let's see what this is. Inches. I'm gonna do it from the line here to here. So it's about 1.25 inches by just over 1/2 inch. Okay. So I'm going to use that to create my measurement for the sheet of paper I need to put inside of here. So I'm going to peel off the back of this and then turn it this way. And I'm going to add this to the spine, and then I'll put the paper in this way to go for the year. So I'm going to make it as equidistant as I can. About right there. And then drop it down. And then again, I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of smush it down, just to make sure that it fully adheres. I really press it down deep. Okay, so now I have that on the spine, and I can cut a sheet of paper for the year. So let's see, what kind of paper do I want to use? So these are some items that I pulled a while ago. Earlier this year when I got the idea to do a fairy tale journal for the following year, I just kind of pulled some stuff. This is some paper that I made. And then I found these rub-ons. And then I have these stickers, again, with the fairy tale theme. So I created, like a little carriage, some trees for the forest, a little mini castle, like the queen, slippers, little frog prints, like different characters, like the wolf from Red Riding Hood, things like that. And then it goes into my word of the year, which this year is going to be rain. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to that. And I'm going to create some flaps for that. And then I have the inside and outside cover pages that I created to make look like a storybook. And then, again, this is paper that I made. And I'm going to create a little mechanism because I want to try to do like a pop-up. So we'll see how that pans out. And then I have some extra images that accidentally got printed on, I think this is 32-pound paper. And so I just kept it in case I decided to use it, but we'll see. And then I also pulled this because my original idea was to go with like a pink princessy journal. And I remembered I had this Once Upon a Time paper, and I bought this ages ago from Big Lots, and this has been in my stash for quite some time. So I don't think this is even available anymore because I've had it for at least a decade. I know. But it has this beautiful, I know it's kind of hard to see, but like this says happily ever after. It has beautiful paper in here, like little storybook scenes. It is scrapbook paper, so it is quite thick. Originally, I was going to use this, but then I decided not to because I decided that it was just going to be way too thick. And I did a spread with some paper from this, I think 2 or 3 years ago in my planner. But it has some really cool paper, like scrolls, things like that. Little page of fairies. And then it has a little sheet of, that's a scrap that I have left over, of stickers. And I've only used maybe like 1/3 of these. So I thought I might use some of these stickers, and it has a couple of die cuts that I haven't used. Or actually, I think I've used most of them. So it's mainly just like the floral die cuts. So I probably won't use that because I've used the banner already and the crown. I have 1 crown left, but so we might see if I use that. But I did create a sticker crown just in case. So this is mainly what I thought I might use from this. So I pulled that again, just in case I decide to use something from there. And then I have all the stuff that I made as well. Let's see. Let me get my letter stickers so that I can spell out 2026 for my planner and then figure out what kind of paper I want to use. All right, so this is one of my OG Happy Planner sticker books, and I thought I could use some of the numbers from this. Maybe this is a little bright, but maybe there's like a blue in here somewhere. Let's see if I have like a teal. Oh, you know what? I might use gold. I think I have gold in here. If I have enough left. I've got tons of silver. Oh, that might work. Yeah, and I have enough numbers for that. Let's see, do I have it in small? And I have it in small, so I think that color will work if I don't have gold. So, keep my finger there. I've got black in the back. Oh, here's gold too. Oh, I do have gold. Okay, so I think I might do gold. And I think I want to do this size. Because I don't have it in that one. This is a really bold one. I don't have that already. I think I used that for something else. So, but I can do it in this. And I also have it in small. But I think I like this one better. So I'll go ahead and pull this. And this is falling apart because I've had it for so long. I think this is one of the first few sets of sticker books I bought from Happy Planner. Okay, and then I also pulled some paper. This is just plain cardstock. And this is from scrapbook.com. Again, to see if I can find something. Since I'm using gold letters, I think I'll use a darker color if I can find something close to this dark teal here. Yeah, nothing in there. Oh, that might work. Okay, maybe. Let's try this one. It's a little too blue. It's a little bright. I think this one works the best. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna pull that and I'll put these back. All right, so let me get my scoreboard. It's a trimmer and a scoreboard. And it's foldable, so I'm just gonna lock it in place here. And I'm just gonna sit it on top of my journal. Okay, let's see, what did I say? I think I said 1.25 inches by 1/2 inch. I think that's what I said. If I remember correctly. In terms of the length of the paper. Wait, is that right? I think that's right. Hold on. Where's that little... Oh, wait, I need my journal. I think that's right. Yeah, that's not right. Let's see. Yeah, it is about 1.25 inches long by... Okay, but that's the outside measure. So the inside is... Oh. Wait, did I cut it? Oh, I think I cut it the wrong way. I did it... What did I do? How's that 1.5 inches and then 1 inch and a... What the heck did I do? Hold on. Okay, my measurement was right, but I need this way to be half an inch. Yeah. I didn't do the height right. And this is a small strip. Let's see if I can hold this down. Ooh, I don't know if I can. Hold on. Let me get my bone folder. Oh, can't do that either. Oh, how am I going to do this? Okay. I might have to eyeball it because it's so short. Or hold it like that. No. Okay, that's not going to work. All right, hold on. Maybe measure 1/2 inch and then cut it by eyeball. And eyeball it. We're just going to live dangerously. Let's go... I'm going to go like a 3/4 inch because I can always trim it down. I can't make it longer. Okay, that's pretty good. But I kind of wish it was slightly taller, so I think I will make it slightly taller and then maybe create like a little thumb notch. So it'll be a little bit easier to pull out if I want to for some reason. I mean, I can imagine why I would need to, but just in case I do want to. So let's maybe do 1/8 of an inch. And then I'm gonna get my 1-inch circle punch. Let me grab that. Or this is my 1/2-inch circle punch, I should say. And is it this piece? Can't remember now. Got so many little pieces over here. 1.25 by, yeah, 3/4 of an inch. And I'm only gonna go partially down. And this is so tiny. It's kind of hard to hold, but do my best to kind of get in the middle if I can. And I didn't punch all the way because it was kind of, this is a tiny little scrap of paper. It's kind of hard to hold, but it got the bulk of it, so it did most of the work for me. Just gonna clean up this edge slightly. There we go. And let's put 2026 on here. And hopefully it fits, because these numbers are kind of big now that I'm looking at them. Might be why I haven't used any of the numbers. I mean, it's going to be tight, but I think I can fit it. And I've got 3 2s. I mean, yeah, 3 2s, and I need 2 of them, so I've got just enough. So let's put the 6 down, and hopefully I'll be able to see this when I put it in. I'm going to just lightly tack it down in case I need to adjust this. I mean, it's going to be close. Yeah, it just fits. I mean, just. Since I have it where I like it, I'm going to smooth it down. And maybe even burnish it with my bone folder so that I don't see the edge of the sticker. And hopefully I won't have to shift these. I got it pretty close to that notch, so I'm hoping the numbers will be visible. But let's see. Let's see how I did. I mean, it's snug. Okay, the numbers are a little big. Okay, I think I have to use the smaller numbers. Because this fits in perfectly, but these are... They fit, but I can't see the 2 and the 6. That's a bummer. Because I have the numbers, so it would be nice to be able to use them. Okay, let me put these back. Well, try to. See if I can try to use them for something later. If I can get them up. It is peeling up this cardstock. Okay, too big. Okay, so I need to use the small gold ones that I have. I think those might work perfectly, and then I'll be able to see them. So these are nice, but too big. Let's use these. This book is falling apart. And this is when I used to keep them on discs at the top. And I've since learned this is not a great way to store them. I thought it was when I first got this, but not so much. Okay. What did I do with that paper? Oh, I just lost my paper. What happened to it? Did I put it in here? Okay, my paper is MIA. Might have to get another strip. See what I do. 3/4 of an inch by 1/2 an inch. Gosh, what? There it is. So I'm just going to turn this over because you can't see it. So I think I'm going to just turn it over this way. And come away from the sides by about 1/4 of an inch. So, let's see, do I have a 6? Yes, I've got 2 6s, but one is rubbed off. So, let's see. So I think I need to be about right here. It's going to work out perfectly. Okay. Let me rub this, and I'm just going to, again, I just turned it over since you're not going to see the other side from the front. I might even take my, I mean, I'm being extra, but you know, we can do it, so why not? Alcohol marker and just kind of get rid of this edge, this raw white edge here. All right, now let's try this. And you know what? I might even glue this to another sheet of paper because it feels a little bit flimsy. I don't know. Just to give it a little bit more structure. I just feel like it just needs a little bit more stability. So again, I don't know why I would need to take this out, but if ever I do, like if the numbers pop off or something and I want to like replace the year, I just want to have the ability to be able to do it easily. So let's put this on the back again, because just to make it a little bit thicker, because this is thin cardstock. It's cardstock, but it is thin. Okay, yeah, I gave it a little bit more stability. It just was feeling a little flimsy to me. Okay, now for cards, that's like the perfect thickness, but for this, I just wanted it to be a little bit better. See if we can slide this in. It was a little snug. I think I might need to take just to shave just a little bit off the sides here, just so I can fit it in a little bit more easily. I mean, just a tiny little bit of a sliver. There we go. Okay. Oh, that fits. Trim just a hair off the top because it's going past the top a little bit too much. Oh, that's perfect. All right, there we go. So that's what the top of it is looking like. And I like the way that came out. So that way I have the year here. I can read the year. You know what I mean? And when it's on the shelf, I'll know, oh, this is my 2026 journal. All right, so let me put this sheet back. All right, so I just have all of that left over. I only used a tiny little scrap there. So that's what it's looking like from the spine. That's the front. And this is the back. So I'm loving the outside so far. Okay, so the outside is done. Now let's open it up and work on the name page. So I created these two. This for the front, this one for the back. And I only created this about an inch, not an inch, excuse me, about 1/4 of an inch taller. And about a 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch on the side. Because I didn't want to have a huge amount. So I might bring this over like this. And so what I might do is trim about an 1/8 of an inch off from the bottom. And I'm using the bottom line here of the book as a guide, just so I can make sure I get design from both of them, from the top and the bottom. And that way I know I'll have at least a little bit of that poking through. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then when I cut a little bit of this off, I should keep most of that. Okay, so I think that will work. So let's see. I think I'll peel it from this side and put it over here. Or should I do the edge? Let me get my cutting mat, just so I can see this a little bit more easily. There we go. And I'm gonna turn it this way. Like that. So this would be like this. Just so I can see how far this would come if I bring it to the edge all the way. Oh yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Okay, I was gonna line it up from here. I usually line it up from this and the top, but I think I'm gonna line it up from the right-hand side. So the side that's facing me. So I'm gonna peel back about an inch worth. So do it like that, and then I'll fold it back again about an inch. Just so it'll help me to kind of line this up and just make sure you're orienting things the right way. This is the top, okay? Because I know you can get turned around really quickly. Ask me how I know. And bring this all the way to the edge of the bottom, as well as all the way to the edge of the side. Like that. And just make sure I have this. I want to take the trouble to get this lined up because this is going to be the hardest part, to get this lined up first, and then the rest will follow. There we go. Now let me get I think I'm gonna get my thicker craft scraper because it has this kind of softer rounded edge. This is by We Are Memory Keepers. And I'm just gonna make sure that's down really well and then slowly peel this back. So I'm using my hand to keep the page flat as I use this to kind of push it along toward the spine. And then when I get to like the last inch, then I'll kind of let it go and then push it toward me. Okay, now I'll go into the spine and then smooth it over. That way this part is actually going over the page, but it looks like this is part of the book and it's opening, which is what I wanted it to look like. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I did a pretty good job of lining that up. Now, because this is the name page, it is a little snug, so I might have to add a little bit of glue here again to kind of keep it closed. Because I kind of want to keep this line here of it being like the spine. And the sticker paper is pretty strong, but I might add some tape runner here. Adding some to the sticker paper and to the left side of the book. And making sure I get the edges in particular. And then, again, go back and kind of smooth it down. Because I want to make sure that it closes properly, which is why I'm kind of squishing it like this. Okay. And then get my bone folder and then push it back into the fibers. And at the same time, I'm kind of working out any air bubbles I see. But this really helps you to not get many air bubbles. You might get a few, but not many. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. Hopefully that will stay. I mean, this is pretty strong, but since this is such a small strip, I might have to reinforce it with some glue, but I'm hoping that I don't have to. Again, because this is that fold that kind of, the cover page kind of doesn't bend properly. So I'm going to kind of encourage that fold with my bone folder and then go back over it and make sure it stays. And so far it's staying. So let me just cut off this 1/8 of an inch that I have at the top because I already cut off an 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. And I think I'm going to do it this way actually because it makes it easier for me to see. Okay, that's not too bad. And I'm just going to go get close to this rounded corner. Now this corner looks like it's a little bit deeper than my Happy Planner. My Happy Planner was 1/4 of an inch. This one looks like it might be 1/2 of an inch. But I'm going to, you know what, I'll test this so I can know for certain. Let's see. I'm going to do one on each side. I'm going to do one on each side. So this will be the 1/4 inch side. I got some sticker paper in there, so peel that off. And this will be the 1/2 inch side. It'll be obvious which one is which because it's significantly different. Let's see. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Corner, rounder. Okay. I think the 1/2 inch might be close. Yeah, it's closer to a 1/2 inch. I mean, it's slightly smaller than the 1/2 inch, but that's going to be closer. So let's go ahead and use that side. Okay. So yeah, you see it's a little bit, the 1/2 inch is, I mean, it's like a 1/16 of an inch larger than that. So I don't know, I might, well, moving forward, if I use the 1/2 inch on all the pages, then it'll be fine. So as long as I remember to use a 1/2 inch on all of them, I think that'll be fine. Just a little sliver of sticker paper here. Let me trim Again, just a tiny little hair at the bottom. There we go. Okay. All right. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Ooh, I love that. And I mean, and this is so beautiful. I don't really want to cover this up. I mean, I might put maybe something small here, but I don't want to cover up the edges. Like I want to maybe like a quote or something here, or maybe like even one of the carriages, but I want to see the bulk of it because I mean, it's just so pretty. In fact, I wonder if, does the back have this design? I don't remember. Oh, okay. The back doesn't have that design. Okay, that's a little disappointing. I feel like they should have did that here. That's kind of a wasted opportunity. Okay, well, that allows me to put the other sheet on the back here. So the front says, once upon a time in an enchanted forest, not so far away, there lived a beautiful princess named Tasha. And then on the back, I have all the creatures of the land joined in the celebration with a smile in the song, and the princess named Tasha lived happily ever after. So this will be the back of it. So again, I'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, so that's what it's looking like, and this is trying to come up, so I might have to glue it. I mean, it's holding that part down, but not this small little edge. Let's try Elmer's glue on this end, and if this doesn't work, I'll use my stronger glue, which is liquid glue, but I want to try not to use that because it does get a little messy, and it can warp the pages. Usually Elmer's with the double-sided tape is more than enough. So I'll just do that. Let me get a sticker backer sheet just to put there for when it fully dries. And, ooh, I am loving this front name page, you guys. I think that looks great. That looks so good. Okay, let's look at the back. And, I mean, it's staying down, but since I know I had to do the front, I might as well add a little glue to this too. So I'm just gonna run it down there. Then use my finger and just kind of smooth it down. And then make sure you have the waxy side facing up so that when it's like this, it won't stick. Okay. Just as a precaution. I mean, you know, just a extra little step. Okay. So name page is done. We have the back page done, which looks really cool. Okay. Okay, so next I think I want to do my word of the year. And I might even use this page even though it's white and it starts here just because, I mean, why not? I can. Especially since I use my bone folder to kind of fold this down. And it looks like it's staying down pretty well, so that makes that a usable page. And I've got tons of decoration. I don't think I showed everything to you guys, but I have like these wax seals, stained glass windows. This is kind of some of the stuff I created earlier this year that I thought that I just kind of saved for this. Like I have some vellum with some quotes like follow your dreams, magical moments. And then this paper I created. And then like a little archway I have that came off of a card that I wanted to repurpose. And then all the stuff that I made over here. So for, let's see, those are the rub-ons. I think I'm gonna put the stickers over here because this is kind of like the decoration stuff. All right, so I created these letters, rain, and then I have these that I created. So this is the night for this side, and I created, basically, I cut it to size. So 8 inches by 3 inches. And then I took my scoreboard and made a 1/4 inch score here. Same thing over here. 8 inches tall by 3 inches, and then I did a 1/4 inch score. And then on the back, I glued another sheet of paper on the back, okay? Because originally I was just going to have it be one-sided, and then when I realized when I open it, then I'll just be blank on that side. And I was like, you know what, let's just make it double-sided. So then I just glued a thin sheet of printer paper so it wouldn't get super thick, since I didn't do it double-sided and I already was on 32-pound paper, so I didn't want to make it super thick. So that's why I did that. Okay, so that's going to go like this on each side here, okay? And then underneath it, it's going to go... this is kind of like the explanation of my word of the year. This is just kind of what I took the time to write down. And then after I wrote it down, I just typed it up. And then I created this sticker from what I typed up. So I just wrote, after a year of finding balance, because my word of the year for 2025 has been balance, 2026 is about stepping into sovereignty, owning my vision, my voice, and my creative kingdom. Reign represents ruling my life with intention, leading with grace, standing tall in my decisions, and honoring the purpose I've built. It's not about control. It's about confidence. It's about knowing that my creativity, my routines, and my dreams are mine to direct. This year, I reign over my time, my energy, and my peace with elegance, strength, and heart. So that's kind of all the things that I wrote down that I wanted to kind of remember for my purpose. Like when I, in 2026, as you create goals and sometimes you struggle to like find your purpose or am I on track, then this is something I can kind of come back to and kind of remind myself of, hey, this is your word of the year. This is the reason why you chose this word. And these are the things you need to focus on. So this is going to go underneath here after I create that flap. And again, same size, 8 inches by 3 inches. And this is just sticker paper that I'm going to put down. Okay. And then this one I left blank because 2026 hasn't happened yet. And at the end of 2026, basically, I'm going to use this to kind of reflect on how I did in terms of my approach to my word of the year, in terms of my purpose and the different goals that I had, how much did I accomplish, what things did I do that lined up with meeting that goal. So just, again, a little way to kind of journal about how I ended the year. Did I finish strong? Did I have some hiccups along the way? Just kind of a space to kind of explain that. And again, that will go underneath here. Okay. Now this is where the pop-up is going to come in. So I have this idea to do the pop-up. I hope it turns out. But this is going to go on last because I need to first put down my decorative papers. But I just want to kind of show you the vision of what I wanted to do. So that's on the right side. This is on the left side. So now I have these papers that I created, and these are stickers. Let's see, this will go on top. Okay. So these are the stickers I created to go over on this side, and this should be, let's see, let me just double check, should be 5 inches. Okay, slightly shy. This is 4 3/4. Why is this one short? This is 5. Why is this side short? Oh, I know what it is. Adobe misprinted this and I decided to just let it go. So it's going to be like this. So this side might be slightly shorter. Oh, that might have been why I made the doors 3 inches. Okay. Because I think originally I was going to do 2. I think I did 3 to make sure I covered this gap here. So that's going to work. Thankfully, I thought this through. Okay. All right. Adobe, you cannot knock me down. I mean, you can, but I'm going to get back up. Okay, so I'm going to put this down here on this side and this side on this side because when I do my pop-up, I want to have some sort of design on the back, on the bottom rather, and you can't do that after you put your pop-up down. So you have to do the background design first, same like with when you do a card. You need to do, your layers on the bottom first, like if you want to mat it, etc. You need to do that first, and then add your pop-up mechanism. So that's why I did this. So this is sticker paper, and let's see, let me bring my cutting mat back in. And I want to go from this edge. And I might even cut this apart just to make it easier for myself so I'm not holding all of that other side over here because I don't want it to get unwieldy. And then just bend it back a little bit more so I can get this full edge. There we go. Okay. So again, this is exactly the size, so hopefully I can put this down as close to perfect as possible. I'm gonna use this edge to kind of smush it back down. And now I kind of want to shift this over. Yep, nope. Okay. Yeah, once you kind of smooth it down, even removable sticker paper eventually sticks. So just kind of keep that in mind. So I think I will take maybe a mild liner and this is a really light one. I think I'll use this one. Just kind of take away some of that white raw edge and then blend it with some of the blue. Just kind of trying to match some of this. And maybe a little bit of the green. And I bring a little bit on the paper again, just so it looks like it's just blended out. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. Not press my luck. Okay, now let's just get maybe a little bit of this for this one little hole that I created. Again, just kind of take away that white raw edge and blend it out a little bit. Maybe I should even use, let's see, maybe this dark gray. Just kind of create a shadow there. And hopefully, thankfully, because it's an outliner, it did not go through. See, did it go through this side? No. Okay. Now this is the first real page, so I'm going to use this to kind of smooth it down, again, to kind of create that edge. Okay. Now, let's cut the sliver that went past the bottom and the top on this one, since my hand moved and I kind of put it down crooked at the very last moment. But we made it work. Okay. All right, so we have our base down. Okay. So now, let's see. Gotta find my instructions that I wrote down to create my little mechanism. So this is the mechanism I'm going to create. Let's see. I think I'm going to do the mechanism first and then put on the doors. Or maybe I should do the bottoms first. And then put this down on this edge here. And let me get the other one. That goes over there. So I'm going to come all the way up to this edge. And I'm going to do it from the top edge, because any excess I have, like I think I might be like 1/8 of an inch over, I can just cut that off. But I don't want to cut anything from the top. Okay. Okay, so this is the base that I created. So we have this castle scene, and then my word of the year description and explanation, and then the blank one I'm going to do at the end of the year. So I'll have this here eventually, and then this here eventually. Okay, but I think I'm going to put that on last. I want to do the mechanism for the pop-up first, and then we can design, because that's where I'm going to put the words rain for my word of the year. Let's see. So yeah, I'll put this to the side with that. And then I created some paper. So I have the same design as this. So I did 2 sheets of that. And this is 32-pound paper. And then I created this design. And this is 2 sheets of this. So I think for the mechanism, maybe I should do the same one, make the mechanism out of this, and then use this for the background. Yeah, I think I will. Okay, so let's see, where's my instructions? Okay, get my instructions on the side here so I can see them. All right, so I'm gonna get my score/trim board back out. I'm just lay it on top of my journal here. Okay, so I need a piece that measures 9 inches long by 3 inches wide. So okay, now I'm going to score at the 1/2 inch marker. So 3 inches, that's 1.5 inches. Oops. And at 9 inches, that's 4.5 inches. Okay, so let's burnish the middle score on the 9-inch mark, the middle score on the 1/2-inch mark. Okay, and then open it up and let's do it. Okay, so now I'm going to fold from the bottom to the center and from the top to the center. So bottom to the center score mark. And I'm going to pinch it and bring it over, make sure it lines up. And then smooth it down. So that's the bottom. Now I'm going to go from top like this. So top to the center. Turn it over. Yeah, make sure it lines up with the center line. Now I have patterned paper, so it's a little hard to see this, but do your best to kind of line it up. Like that. Okay. So we have the middle fold along 9 inches, middle fold along 4.5, excuse me. But yeah, the middle fold along 9 inches and the middle fold along 3 inches. Okay. And then the upward fold, downward fold. Okay, so now we're going to push in the middle. Let's see. There it is. Okay. Y'all, I am not gonna lie. That took a while to kind of come together for me. Okay, so when it's laying flat and you pinch the sides, it should just kind of create that little angle there. So you have like this square in the middle and it just kind of creates that point. So you have like this triangle at the top here made from the square and it goes like that. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to turn this so we can line this up because the mechanism needs to go basically more or less in the center point. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just kind of eyeball it. So about right there looks to be about center to me. And you want it close to the edge, but not touching the edge. All right, so with the mechanism in the middle, more or less, and mine is about right there. And I want to make sure that I can open and close it. We're going to add some glue. So let's see. Get my Elmer's glue. And basically put it where the triangle is. And I'm going to close this. I think I'm going to move that now. Then I'm going to turn it this way, then open it from this side, and put glue here, again on this triangle, and then close this. Okay, and then when you open it, I didn't put it, let's see, did I do it this right? All right, guys, so I think my measurements were off slightly, so I'm going to try to do this again. So instead of 9 inches, I'm going to do 8.5. There we go. Okay, so now I can go back and trim the 1/4 inch I have over here and over here. And I'm just gonna, well, I was gonna say I'm gonna eyeball it, but maybe I shouldn't. I'm just gonna take like 1/8 off the bottom and 1/4 inch off the top, because doing it this way just makes it a little bit easier for me to get my measurements, because I was gonna have to do some complicated math. So I was just trying to keep the numbers simple so I could get a mechanism that works. So I think I'll use this line here, just so it doesn't go past the bottom of my page. Same thing here. Oh, this one didn't go through all the way. I think because of the spine, I need to use a little bit more pressure. There we go. Just to make sure. I just want to make sure it doesn't go past the top. And now, because I folded it, let's make sure I get this back in motion. There we go. Okay, so just want to make sure that it's not going past the bottom or past the top. And I swear this is crooked, even though I used this. Yeah, it's a little crooked. My hand must have moved. It's kind of hard because the spine is a little bumpy. See if I can do better this time around. Maybe if I do it like that. So I get a straighter line. And again, just kind of, since I laid it flat, help the mechanism get back in shape. And yeah, it looks like that's still working. Okay, perfect. All right, so now I'm going to create see what this length is now, since I cut it about 7.5. Should be 3 inches wide. 7.5. So it's now 7.5 by 3. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to use that measurement to create the parts that's going to go here. All right, so now this measures the exact same thing as this, more or less. I mean, it might be off by like an 1/8 to 1/4 inch, because again, human. But what I'm going to do is, let's see. Let me do this side. Is fold it in half. And I'm just doing this by hand. You could use your scoreboard, but this is just as easy. And then take my bone folder and burnish that. And then take this in and fold it in half. And then take this in and fold it in half again toward the center. Okay, so we've got it folded in half again. So you got 4 parts. Okay. Okay, so now that I have it folded in quarters, I'm going to fold, let's see, I think I'll line it up with the center as best I can, which is about right here. And then fold one piece back and put glue in this little rectangle. And then smooth that down. And then fold this back and then put glue in this bottom rectangle. So I did the top right and now I'm doing the bottom left. Just reinforcing the folds with my bone folder so that it'll fold more smoothly since I folded it by hand. Okay. And if you use cardstock, this would be a little bit better, but because I'm putting this in my journal, I was afraid to use cardstock. Because again, I don't want to get too bulky. Making sure it's completing the fold all the way. Okay, looks like it is. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. Again, it's a little flimsy because I'm using, even though I'm using heavyweight paper, it's 32-pound paper, but it is paper. And I did that on purpose because, again, I was worried it wouldn't, I knew it would work, but I was worried it would be difficult to work. So it's closing, but I know because of the light weight of the paper, it's having a hard time turning a little bit. I kind of have to help it out a little bit, but it works. Okay, so we're going to live with it. So now let's go ahead and put down our letters for the word of the year. And it's 4 squares and have 5 letters, so we're going to have to get a little bit creative. Let's see. Trying to figure out how to do the I, E and I, and then the N. I think I can put down here. And get all the letters just so I can figure out how to place them. I did the R and N first so I can figure out spacing. And keep these in order. Let's see, E. If E and I can fit there, or I can ING fit. Or maybe I do the I halfway over this. I might do that. Trim off some of the offset. I'm kind of using my nail to push it down and then trim off this little bit of the offset that goes over. And then put the E maybe directly above it, or should I stagger? I think I'll stagger it. Like that. Again, just kind of creasing it just to reinforce that fold. Okay. Again, it's folding, but because of the weight of the paper, it's not very thick. It doesn't come up all the way. So it works, but I think that's as good as I can do without using actual cardstock. So I think I can live with that. And let's maybe put a crown over here. And maybe one down here. All right, now let's get the soldiers on, because that took quite a bit of finagling. And this should be a little bit easier because I'm just basically doing a tip-in. So I'm going to get my craft knife and kind of to help me peel up this double-sided adhesive tape. Get my mat. And again, we're just doing a tip in. So I'm gonna go all the way to the edge over here and all the way to the top. And use my bone folder to just kind of smooth it down. And again, I might have a small amount to trim. Let's see if I can. Bring this down slightly. Line it up with this bottom edge. Like that. Kind of hard to get that edge right, but doing my best to line it up and place it on top. There we go. That's pretty close. And that'll fold back like that. All right, so I'm just gonna trim off the part that goes past it. Okay, so we've got that, and I might round the corner one more time just to make sure that's a clean corner round. I had to go through quite a bit of layers, but just to make sure that's fully rounded. Just clean up this one little edge there. Okay, now let's do this side. Okay, so now we have these flaps, and oh, boy, talk about cutting it close. I mean, I measured that, but wow, I cut that really close. But thankfully it worked out. Now I'm going to add one of these little thin Velcro dots to each side, again, just to make sure it stays closed. So I'm going to get one smooth one and one rough one. Let me get my tweezers. So I'm going to put down more or less in the middle, and that's a good gap right there. So put that one right there. That was the rough one, so now I got to get the smooth one. And these take 15 minutes to fully cure. And then I'm gonna just push it down. Now you could do one at the top, one at the bottom, but I feel like one in the middle is enough to more or less keep it closed, so that's all I'm doing. But again, if you want additional security, you could do it like that. But again, I'm just putting mine more or less in the middle. Put this one on top and then push it down. All right, so I have these scraps over here, which I don't think I'm gonna use any more of these. Thankfully, I made extras because I thought, let me make some extra in case, you know, I mess something up, and I did. Like in case my math is wrong and it doesn't work. So I'm glad I did that. All right, so now let's pull out some embellishments. And it's the rest of that paper there. And again, I'm probably not going to use all of this, just maybe a few items. And let's see, let me smooth this down just to make sure it's fully adhered. And again, it takes 15 minutes for these to cure, so I'm not going to open these until they're completely cured. And again, my pop-up's not going to work perfectly because it's paper and not cardstock. I don't know, I might remake this in cardstock. Do I want to go through the hassle though? And also the bulk. Yeah, I bet not. Okay. I think I might just leave that alone. For the most part, I think that came out the way that I wanted it to. So yeah, I think I might just leave that alone. So this looks great. And now we can start to the next page. So I'm just gonna help it, the top and the bottom close all the way so it lays flat. So again, I think I might add a little bit of decoration over here. Let's see. We've got some rub-ons, some windows, but again, I don't know how much of this I want to cover because this is so pretty. I might not do anything here. And I have all of this stuff. Oh, that's kind of cool. I might add this little frame here. It's like you're looking in through it. Let's see. I have some vellum somewhere. Let's see if we can find this vellum scrap I have. I might glue some of this down onto here. And see what that would look like. Get my glue stick. Okay, and then put this down in the corner over here and line it up. Okay, clean my hands. And I'm just gonna fussy cut around this. Okay, now let's see if we like it. I think it might look kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Kind of like it. Let's see, do we want to put some words underneath? I have some of these vellum words. Let's see, this is magical moments. Oh, I might put that across. That looks kind of cool. Let's see, follow your dreams. And what is this? Oh, it's a dragon. I had it upside down. Little dragon. Might put him somewhere. Okay, so I think I want to use the magical moments. So I'm going to use my 𝐸 adhesive and just glide it through the middle here. That way it looks like we're looking out of a window, looking at beautiful golden swans swimming. So I just added adhesive all the way across all of this evenly. And let's see. You put this right here so I can see most of the swan heads. And then I think I'm gonna add 1/4 inch double-sided tape. Okay, so I basically have it on 90% of this, except for that difficult curve in the middle here. I guess I can put a little bit here, just a tiny bit. Okay, I think that's about as good as I can get. And now let's peel this up. All right, now let's create our scene with our swans. And let's see, I think it was, if I center it, is about right there. If I bring it over slightly, then I won't cover up this one's face. I think I'll put it about right that, and then smooth it down. And I think I had enough tape there to get it to stay. I'm just going to get my bone folder and again, just kind of reinforce that double-sided tape along the edges. Okay, that looks really cool. I like the way that that looks. So I think that is done. So we have And this is still trying to come up a little bit. So again, I might have to put some liquid glue there. I'm going to see if it'll cure after about 24 hours, but if not, I'll add some glue, liquid glue. That's stronger. Okay, so we have this, we have the name page, then we open it up into my word of the year, and, oh yeah, I can't open that yet. But then I have the explanation of my word of the year, and then at the end of the year, I'll write my little comment about how I did in terms of, you know, reaching my goals associated with my word of the year. And then in the back, again, just kind of help this close. We have, okay, so it looks like most of this one stayed, but this little corner came up. Oh, and it tried to peel. See, can I put this back down? I might not be able to. Oh, I think it glued itself. There we go. I think my my backer sheet shifted and this glued itself, so I'm just trying to peel it back. Because, I mean, this is down like really well, so I might not need liquid glue. I think it just might need a little bit more time to cure. And this part is trying to rip. I might have to just leave this like this because it doesn't want to come off. And it is quite sticky. The bottom is torn. Let's see. I'll put back that marker I used. What marker did I use? This is darker, I think, but we're going to use it. Just kind of fill in that gap. And run it down like that. And then use a fine tip and try to clean up the edge slightly. There we go. Okay, so we got that. Let's see. What does this say? Life is a combination of magic and stardust. Oh, that's kind of cool. I might put that right in the middle in this pocket. I think I'll do that. And I think I'll use stick glue. Oops, it shifted on me. Okay, try to get it straight again. Oh, right there. My craft scraper and just smooth this down. And just rub away any excess glue. And then use my rubberized adhesive remover to take away any additional stickiness. And just get my bone folder and just smooth the edges so it fully adheres. Okay, that looks kind of cool. I think I might add maybe one of the carriages I have down here on the pocket, just so it's not so plain. At the bottom here. Put that in the middle. And then maybe a slipper on top. Or maybe the castle. No, I think I'll do the castle because I think I'll do the slipper because I have the Cinderella's carriage at the bottom. And let's see. Maybe add in some trees. So it's like they're stopping in the forest here. And I'll put maybe 1 or 2 more on the other side. And this didn't look like it cut all the way, but there we go. This one down here. Just gonna create a little scene there like that. Let's see. Okay, I kind of like that. I think that looks good. I don't think I'll do anything else. I mean, I kind of want, let's see, maybe some washi, maybe some of my script washi. Maybe I'll put some down and then tear some of it. Let's see. I've got this scrap left over that I saved from something else. I think I'll layer that on top. And, oh wait, I'm gonna cut this. Let me get a craft knife. I use very light pressure. Again, just gonna layer that over there. And then maybe I'll put the other half of it on this side. Gonna smooth this bubble out. There we go. And then put this little scrap down here, just so it kind of fills in most of that. And I'll carefully try to cut this part that goes over. There we go, where the pocket is. And let's see, do I want the dragon here or leave the shoe? I feel like it doesn't go with the swans. And I like how this is kind of feminine and sweet, so maybe I won't use the dragon, even though I think he's really cool. I might just leave it there. Okay, let's put this back, and then let's take a look. Okay, so I created lots of stuff, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use any of this. I mean, I kind of want to use the frog prints. Maybe I'll use the frog prints. Maybe I'll have him sitting up here at the top. Let's see. Cut off this bottom offset. Yeah, I like that. Let's see, part of his cloak tore. Let's see if I can add this back in. He's got to have his regal cloak. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Okay. All right, let's clean up and then we'll see where we are. All right, you guys, so this is where we are. I have some of these rub-ons. I'm trying to decide if I want to use any of them. I mean, I might use some of these splatters. Cut it away from some of the lace and the other items on here. Because I didn't use any of the seals that I had or any of these. So maybe we'll just add a little bit of interest with this. I'm going to kind of break it up in different sections and then rub it on. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. Kind of just makes it look a little bit more antique and kind of fills that in that space and takes away some of the negative space and gives it a little bit more interest. All right, so let me show you everything from the front. And I realized this was falling out because I kept turning my journal upside down and sideways. So I think it'll be fine on the shelf because I'm not going to be doing that on my shelf. So this is what it looks like from the spine view. And then the front. And then we have the back, which I adore. And then we open it up to the name page. And I love that I added this little window here just to kind of give this a little bit of interest. And it brings in some of that black too. And then the pop-up with my word of the year. And then these with the explanation of my word of the year and my ending commentary at the end of the year. And then let me just make sure that folds all the way. There we go. The back page. And toss that. And then the inner pocket is decorated since that's the last that you'll see of the notebook, and it just gives it a little extra interest. So this part is staying, but it looks like I might have to add a little bit of glue here. And let's see how the front is doing. Yeah, it looks like both bottoms are coming up. I'm wondering why the top is staying, but this isn't. I might try to add a little bit more double-sided adhesive. And then if that doesn't work, like I said before, I'll add some liquid glue, and I know that for sure will stay. All right, so that's my 2026 setup for my creative journal. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay inspired, and thank you for watching.